4 topics in?
Yeah. 4.
Yeah,
Was it 3?
No, we're 4. We had 3 in the A's, 1 in the B's. Who's counting, though? You waved the white flag a little bit. I'm just wondering what the score is.
It's 2-2 right now.
2-2?
Yeah.
That is so false.
I'll give him Brady. I'll give him that reluctantly.
It's 4-0.
4-0? No, it's not.
It's 4-0.
4-0.
It's 4-0. I don't lose debates, but go ahead. It's all right. Go ahead. Let him think
4-0.
that.
My God.
Listen. I revere this man. Let him make him feel good. Let him give him one. Give him one.
Give him one. Revere this man.
The king of backhanded compliments right now. He's going to give him a few.
With these nice quotes. Enough with the nice quotes.
Enough. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get to another one. All right. There's a sleeper team in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. His home team, the Atlanta Falcons, where he was once a ball boy. That, according to Adam Schefter, the Falcons joined the Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints, Cleveland Browns as teams that have met with or are interested in trading for Watson. Now, keep in mind, Deshaun was deposed yesterday. He could still be suspended by the league. He faces 22 different lawsuits for allegations of sexual assault. The last time Deshaun Watson played in a game was January 3rd, 2021. Mad Dog, I want to go on the field here, though, now. Is Deshaun still among the elite quarterbacks?
Well, still, I don't know if he even ever got there.
What?
Still, he's been playing for 3 years. He won 1 playoff game against the Bills, and you guys got him up there with Josh Allen, Mahomes,
You
Brady.
guys?
Rodgers. I mean, come on, take it easy. What? Because he beat Alabama a game in the end. That
doesn't matter.
AJ McCarron won one of those too against LSU. He's not an elite quarterback.
Advantage, Mad Dog?
He's good. Okay, no
I
argument.
even give a take yet. Stop the intent.
I was just saying that AJ McCarron was a good point.
And he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Thank you.
Carry on.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Very good. Think about it now from an elite quarterback. Is he better than Rodgers? He is not.
Okay.
Is he better than Brady?
No.
He is not.
No.
Is he better than Mahomes?
No.
He is not. Is he better than Josh Allen?
We don't know that.
Oh, he's not better than Josh Allen.
We don't know that.
He hasn't played a playoff game like Josh Allen did against the Chiefs.
Well, listen, first of all, Josh Allen's performance in that fourth quarter against the Chiefs was absolutely spectacular.
Haven't seen Watson do that.
It's the greatest fourth quarter I've ever seen. Take away that quarter and tell me what he's done that Deshaun Watson has not done.
Well, he won a great game the week before against the Patriots.
Deshaun
he threw
Watson,
6 touchdown passes.
Deshaun Watson, he got himself into all of this trouble. We were talking about Deshaun Watson, and whoever got him was going to be a legit Super Bowl contender, depending on that team, because that's how special he was. And all of a sudden, we going to forget that?
I'm not allowed to say I got to see more. He's played 3 years.
I can say that too, but I'm just saying, just don't just poo-poo and dismiss whether or not he's one of the quarterbacks in the game.
Game for your life.
Oh, Lord.
Josh,
Here we go with
what's the fact?
Here we go with this. The game for our life. You always ask me this question. Go ahead.
Josh Allen or Deshaun Watson?
I would say Josh Allen.
Thank you. That was the point I'm trying to make.
Because Deshaun Watson didn't play this past season, okay?
Well, that's part of it.
That's why. If he had played this season,
Josh Allen because Watson couldn't play.
I'm just saying, no, it's not his fault. But the point that we just talking about talent. We're not talking about responsibility.
Mahomes or Watson?
Yeah. Of course, Mahomes.
Right.
Stop that.
Burrow or Watson?
Burrow or Watson? Excuse me. I like Watson just
he's
as well
not
as I like Burrow.
Good as Joe Burrow. He just got to a Super Bowl.
Oh, come on, dear. You go with
how do you want to Jimmy
Garoppolo got to a Super Bowl too. Are you talking about him that way?
I did not mention him, did I?
All right, I'm just saying. Why you bring up that he went to the Super Bowl? We talk
Joe
talent.
Burrow's performance was different than Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's not fair.
That's not
an
fair.
insult.
Say that. Joe Burrow is great. I love Joe Burrow. He can ball. But I love Deshaun Watson, too. How many times have we sat on the show with one analyst after another talking about the greatness of Deshaun Watson before he got into this legal trouble?
Next year.
Why do you think it's a big deal?
Next year, you want Herbert or Watson?
Come on, man. Listen.
I'm asking
I'd
you a
pick
question.
all of them ahead of Watson right now because Watson has been gone for the last year. So I got to see it again.
Well,
but I'm saying based on what we've seen from him thus far, he's right in that category.
No, he's not.
He's right in that category.
Not in what category, Mahomes?
Excuse me? No, not Mahomes.
Allen?
Everybody else.
Rodgers?
Lamar Jackson? No, not listen.
Brady?
Time out.
Stafford? How many guys you want me to name?
No. First of all, he's in the category. Well, before Stafford won the Super Bowl, hold on, time out. Before Stafford won the Super Bowl just now, what were we saying about him?
He won. What are you going to eliminate?
No. I'm saying Deshaun Watson didn't play this last year, so I don't have a comeback for that because he didn't play.
Give us the category.
False, Steve.
You're putting him with the Lamar Jacksons, the Matthew Stafford. Who else?
Take away Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Okay, and I'll put Deshaun Watson up with all of them.
Dak
in the same category as all of them. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Listen,
yes.
Lamar's got issues, but he was the MVP of the league. Was Watson ever the MVP of the league?
Can Lamar Jackson ever throw the football like Deshaun Watson can throw the football?
I agree with that.
All right.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Okay.
Would you forget about the Kansas City game a couple years ago when they had a 24-0 lead?
That's right.
He could not stop that momentum.
And Kansas City scored 41 straight. No doubt about it. He couldn't stop the momentum. But that was a blitzkrieg that came down upon
How about a few less 3 and outs when the game's on the line?
Excuse me. How did you feel about Bill O'Brien as the coach of the Texans at that time?
He's not coaching. That's what happened to him.
That's right. All right then. So that had a lot to do with the performance too.
A little bit, but I mean, the quarterback's got to make a few plays. Oh my God!
He's the head coach. He's the head coach, man.
Not Otto Graham. Come on, stop.
I'm just telling you. What were you saying about Deshaun Watson when he was playing?
He's a top 10 quarterback.
Okay.
You got him in the top 5. That's crazy.
No. I didn't say top 5. What I'm saying to you is that
after the top 3, Brady, Rodgers, and Mahomes, he's in the next category.
I'm saying it's a crapshoot with the rest of them. He's right in the conversation. You can't. Herbert, Burrow, Derek Carr, Josh Allen. I said Justin Herbert. Right? All of them. Deshaun Watson is right there with all of them.
Not fair.
Oh, you got to be crazy.
Not yet.
You got to be crazy.
He got a chance to be. You're putting him a high level. Not yet.
Listen, I'm putting him at a high level.
They were 4-12 2 years ago.
I'm putting him at a high level. I am saying that Deshaun Watson, as a quarterback, this brother take away the creme de la creme, your Rodgers, the Brady, Mahomes, and he's in a conversation with anybody else.
I got to see more.
Anybody else.
I can't do that. That's not fair.
How many ones? 3 1s for Deshaun Watson?
Would you do that?
No.
Because remember, he is going to get suspended.
Yep.
Roethlisberger got 6 games.
That's right.
Now, I think they knocked 2 off, so maybe it was 4.
I think
he's getting suspended.
Hey,
so if you are an owner and you bring him to your team,
listen.
and you're going to have people moaning and groaning, people are going to be digging up stuff, what's going on here,
right.
and he's going to be suspended. So you give up 3 1s for that? I guess there's a team that's desperate enough, they will do so, like a Carolina who needs a quarterback.
Yeah.
The owner spends money, he don't care. So there probably will be an overpay. I'm not sure about 3
I will tell you this. I'm not giving up 3. I give up 2, not 3, number 1. Number 2, let's get real serious here for a second here. This man had 22 cases against him.
He still does.
Criminally, he doesn't have to, they're not going to prosecute him. But civilly, civil lawsuits, they coming down the pike. Okay, we understand that. We can't ignore what he has been accused of. And as a result, since the NFL has handed down suspensions for everything else, you got to give him a minimum of 6 to 8 games.
He's going to get games.
6 to 8 games minimum. And by the way, we can't even rule out whether or not the NFL is going to let him play next season.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley just got a season. We talked about this for betting.
One of the dumbest things in the world.
Here's what I will
last week.
Here's what I will say, though, and I think this is important to point out about the NFL because it's something that I don't like, and I want to throw this by you, Doggy. See how you feel about this. I don't like the fact that the NFL doesn't make decisions but still allows deals to be made. In other words, you should announce what you're going to do with Deshaun Watson first. Now that you know he's not being criminally charged, even though it's civil, the bottom line is you have enough evidence alone, just on the allegations, to deal with a punishment for him now. Because what's unfair to the teams, not him, I'm not talking about him. What's unfair to the teams is we're willing to give up picks and stuff like that. We don't know if you're going to suspend him 4 games, 8 games, or the entire season.
Stephen A., how do they do it when they're in the middle of it? He's deposed yesterday. I mean, for the NFL's defense, he's still in the middle of it.
No, what I'm saying
so they don't know it.
I understand that part, but what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that it has to be final because we've seen them go back and modify their position with other cases. You could do that with Deshaun Watson too. But now that you know that he's not going to be criminally charged and you're allowing him to play, and you have teams that are vying for his services. I'm not talking about him. It's unfair to the teams that they don't know the status of the person they're trying to acquire. You should be able to say, look, y'all, you can bet the house he getting a minimum of 8 games. You should be able to say something like that if you're the National Football League. You should be able to tell teams, you're getting this minimum. At best case scenario, don't expect it for half the season because then that will influence who may want him and who may not, as opposed to them wheeling and dealing for him. And then all of a sudden you find out that the penalties are going to be something you didn't expect. That's my position on the NFL.
He must have been supplementing that coffee in his 6-minute break because he's 100% right. No argument whatsoever. You are 100% right. The teams should know what they have coming with Watson before they go out there and make a big trade here with Houston. Houston's going to ask for 3 ones. And if you're Carolina, who is desperate enough to probably give it to him because they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, the Saints, made the playoffs last year. Maybe they still think Winston can do something. I mean, Carolina's got nobody. Now, here's the one thing that's going to happen to Watson. He is not going to be able to fool around with that no-trade contract.
Right.
He made a big deal. I'm not going here. I'm not going there. He is not in that position to do that. So if he has to go to a place that he doesn't necessarily want to go because he doesn't want to live in Charlotte and he'd rather live in Miami and, he doesn't want to live in Cleveland, he'd rather live – that's tough. Because you're going to have to deal with the idea, based on what happened here, that you are going to have to sort of rejuvenate your career and get back your good name. And so as a result, you're going to have to decide to play for a team that you may not want to play for.
I'm going to say something.
But Stevie's right. He should not interrupt you. He should, your show. He should not be able, the NFL team should know what it's going to cost them if they make a trade with the Texans.
And I ain't going to front. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. You got to take into consideration where he's going to go. I mean, you go into, you in Utah, that might be a little bit different than New York. You in, you Miami, Atlanta. Based on the allegations, you got to take all of that into consideration as to what city you're asking him to come to. Because there are some cities that, dare I say, are more tempting than others.
Yeah, there's a lot of hurdles he still faces, obviously, with those 22 allegations of sexual assault. We'll keep you posted on that. Still to come here on First Take, it was a performance open. Cleveland met with Deshaun Watson on Tuesday, the same day he was deposed for 22 civil lawsuits alleging sexual assault, and the NFL still could suspend him, but the Browns are still pursuing him, and Baker Mayfield took notice. Baker on social media with a lengthy thank you to the city of Cleveland. In part, it read this: "This is not a message with hidden meaning. This is strictly to thank the city of Cleveland for embracing my family and I. I have no clue what happens next, and I've given the franchise everything I have, and that will not change where I take my next snap." Okay. Stephen A?
Yes.
Is Baker being too sensitive here?
I don't think so. I think that, well, first of all, he's being himself because he's always been this way. That's number one. Number two, he sees the forest from the trees. He knows what's coming down. Cleveland doesn't necessarily want him much longer. His days in Cleveland appear to be numbered. If they can get their hands on a better quarterback, a la Deshaun Watson, they would do it in a heartbeat. Okay, now he has a no-trade clause. I'm talking about Watson here, so he has to choose to go to Cleveland. But the bottom line is that Baker Mayfield understands. You had Odell Beckham Jr., you had Jarvis Landry, you had Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb in the backfield and the whole bit. And still, you, as the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns franchise, was clearly the weak link. You were the quarterback and you were the weak link. Because everywhere you looked, they had weapons. They had weapons at the tight end spot. They had weapons at the backfield. They had weapons at the wideout spot. Baker Mayfield was the Achilles heel for the Cleveland Browns offense. So bottom line is, if you're Cleveland, you're smart enough to recognize we got to move in a different direction. Pittsburgh still made the playoffs despite Ben Roethlisberger being old and immobile. Baltimore would have been in there if Lamar Jackson hadn't gotten hurt and they didn't lose the last 4 games of the season, last 6 overall, but the last 4 that he was out, okay? And Joe Burrow has arrived. And so when you look at it from that perspective, Cleveland knows they've got to make a move. They know they've got to move in a different direction. And they know that Baker Mayfield isn't that dude. And Baker Mayfield is realizing that himself. So he basically said, hey, I see what's going on here. No matter what happens, thank y'all for everything. It's a preemptive strike, but nevertheless, it's a swan song. He's on his way out the door, and he knows it.
Way too sensitive. What is he, Bill Russell, with a thank you note to the Boston Globe when he finishes his career? He hasn't won any championships, my God. And he's going to send a note to the Cleveland fan base? Furthermore, how do we know Watson's going there? He's got other teams. How about if Watson says, I don't want to go to Cleveland, I want to go play for the Saints or the Panthers, and then the Browns will still have Baker Mayfield as the quarterback?
He won't want to go play for Cleveland.
Well, where's he going to go? Oh, yeah, Watson you're talking about. Yeah, he may not want to go. So if Watson doesn't go to Cleveland, Mayfield's no, what does it mean? Well, they're going to bring him back.
So they're talking numbers and he wants some more money.
Well, he's not worth the money. Go do another Progressive commercial for crying out loud in the basement of the stadium. He is not worth the money. He hasn't been that good. And the idea that the Brown fan now is going to shed a tear because Baker Mayfield might leave, take it easy, Bake. You're not that good. I mean, my God, be happy that you're a starting quarterback with the Browns. You have underachieved, and let things play itself out. We don't know what's going to occur here with the Watson and what they're going to do for their future. Why send a note now? Plus, that's a little, hold on now, sending a note, thank you for all your help. He had been there for 3 years. It's not like he's won 6 championships.
Well, what's wrong with him writing it now?
Oh, come on.
What's wrong with him writing it now?
Well, it's not a goodbye yet.
But it's pretty much a goodbye. That's what he's saying, Molly. I mean, read between the lines here. I mean, it's
where's he going with no quarterback? If Watson doesn't go there.
They don't want him.
Well, who do they want? Daniel Jones? I mean, what's they going?
Whoa.
They're thinking a lot of options might be better than him, and they might not be wrong. The bottom line is that you've been talking with them this offseason. You're negotiating with them. You know what's being said about you. That stuff gets back to you if they didn't tell him to his face outright. The bottom line is he sees the handwriting on the wall, and so he's saying goodbye. What's wrong? What's wrong with a sensitive letter to the fan base there? Because they were appreciative. They have tolerated a lot from him. All right, what's wrong with that, man?
Letter to the fan base.
I'm just saying, everybody don't have their own radio show and their own radio channel,
oh
okay?
My God.
They got to use Twitter and social media outlets.
A soundbite when you're out the door, maybe, but a letter? Once you write it with a Cleveland Plain Dealer, it's like on a full-page ad. He's not that good. I mean, my goodness.
I agree with that.
I
agree with that. He's not that great.
And the other thing,
all right.
Here's the other point. Where is it said right now that he won't be the quarterback next year? If Watson goes somewhere else,
maybe he knows
where are they going?
Maybe he knows something we don't.
Oh, but where's their quarterback who's better than him that's going to come to Cleveland?
Does it really take a lot to be better than somebody you just acknowledge isn't that good?
Who's better, Trubisky or Mayfield? The point is, there's nobody else out there. Wilson's traded, Brady's back.
Trubisky's a Steeler.
He's a steal.
Well, I'm using him as an example. Yeah. There's nobody else out there. Anybody else?
Hey, listen.
Get back up. Geno Smith. What do you want?
Hey, listen. The Giants just got Tyrod Taylor. I mean, listen. There's some quarterbacks out there that are perceived as being better than Baker.
No. Baker is better than. Gotta be fair. Be fair. I don't want to be too harsh.
Right.
I mean, Baker Mayfield's better than Tyrod.
Would you rather Jimmy G?
Yeah, I probably would.
Jimmy G over
But
Baker?
I don't know. He might go. Maybe he goes to Indianapolis. I guess that's a possibility.
Stephen A., what about you?
Ain't nobody trying to go to Lake Erie.
What do you think, Jimmy G over Baker?
Oh, you have to.
Of course.
He got to a Super Bowl.
Of course. I mean, he didn't do anything in the playoffs to get to the Super Bowl, but he ultimately was there. Porn star Jimmy, what he did show up.
He didn't mess it up.
He didn't mess it up.
Quarterbacks can mess it up.
He didn't mess it up. Porn star Jimmy didn't mess it up.
Here's what you know. Think about that quarterback draft for a second. Donald's been awful. Mayfield was the top pick.
Yeah.
Those quarterbacks in that draft.
Passed up on Josh Allen.
But awful.
Yeah.
So, a lot of good quarterbacks. Rosen was terrible. Drafted. There was a lot of bad quarterbacks in that pick. Him and I am generally in agreement with this.
Yes.
He wants to let him have a big swan song goodbye. A, it's premature. And B, you know what? I'm not sure if he's earned the swan song, thanks for your love.
Earn it. Earn that.
You think
That is ridiculous, Molly.
I think Mayfield's way too sensitive, and he seems to think that he's on this particular level where he sort of deserves, Baker, I hate to see you go. You've been so great. He hasn't been so great.
I agree with that, but it is utterly ridiculous for you to sit up there and say he hasn't earned the right to say goodbye. I mean, what the hell is that? What qualifications come with having to say goodbye?
If Daniel Jones left tomorrow and he put out an ad in the New York Post, thank you for your support, New York, you would be screaming, Daniel Jones. They're happy that you're gone.
No.
I mean,
first of all, he's not a Giant.
I know he's not.
So
but
nobody's talking about
Daniel
Jones.
To the city
He doesn't matter. When you talk about Baker Mayfield, you got some people. Once upon a time, he was considered as a beloved figure. You have reporters from the Cleveland Plain Dealer coming on here talking about he's a beloved figure in Cleveland.
He's a big disappointment.
Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. But the fans in Cleveland felt otherwise.
They did then, but they may not now. They might want him out.
Right now, but he might not know that, which is why he might say
So
goodbye.
you would have rather him just ghosted, left, said nothing.
First off, he hasn't left yet.
Okay, just throwing it out there. Let's move on. You're too feisty about this.
He's saying goodbye. He's saying goodbye.
I got him riled up today. You can tell.
Good.
He's been beat, and he wants to bounce back.
Yeah, guess what? We still got an hour and 40 to go.
Oh, I sure did.
Randy Gregory sure had some options. The Dallas Cowboys announced on the team's social media accounts Tuesday morning that Gregory had agreed to a deal to return to the team, but multiple Broncos sources later confirmed that he instead is joining Denver. The deal is the same in basic construction, 5 years, $70 million, $28 million guarantees largely coming in the first two. A source telling Ed Werder that the salary forfeiture language the Cowboys include in player contracts that led Gregory to back out of this agreement is standardly used among other teams. Here's the clause that Gregory objected to: voiding his contract if fined, suspended for any drug offense or violation of the NFL's personal conduct policy. You know, just looking ahead. Was not included in his previous Cowboys contract and also wasn't mentioned in Monday's contract talks. Those lasted until midnight. So he was just looking ahead in case something happened, you know, wouldn't want to lose the money. I'll start with you.
Yes, indeed. First off, go jump off sides for 9 million times. How many times did he jump off sides against San Francisco?
At least 3 or 4.
Oh, my God. I mean,
at least 3 or 4.
Listen, he should answer better than me. He signed 1 million contracts or as much money as Gregory has.
Oh, whatever.
What?
No.
Maybe not that much, but you know what I'm saying. Bottom line is, what talent, football player, Christopher Russo, Steven, he looks through the parameters of a contract. What he's looking at his contract. Well, I don't like the language, so I'm going to not sign. Oh, he don't know. He didn't look through the contract. The agent did. So the agent's trying to come up with something to make it look okay for Gregory to bail on Dallas, who, by the way.
Oh, you don't think it's legit?
Oh, I think it's an excuse.
You don't think he was scared that he's going to get fined or in trouble and lose his money? You don't think he's protecting himself based on his history of decisions?
Well, first off, he shouldn't be worrying. You know what? They should void his contract if there's another suspension, because you know what? Dallas has protected him twice. Mm-hmm. This is a guy that has bailed on that has gotten, he's had some issues twice, and Dallas did not cut him. They kept him on their ball club, and they've been very supportive of him. So here it is. I can see if Denver offered more money.
Okay.
So here are the Cowboys who gave him the same, forget the words in the contract, that's a bunch of nonsense. The Cowboys gave him the same amount of money that Denver does. And Dallas has had his back for 5 or 6 years.
Oh, really?
And his response is, I am going to bail to go play for the Broncos when they pay me the same amount of money. It's not any money more than the Cowboys do. And the other thing is, if he was smart about it, he want to stay in Dallas. Okay. They're in an easy division. They had a much better chance to play in the playoffs. Denver's got the Chiefs. It's got the Chargers. From a career standpoint and a big stage standpoint, he's much better off in the NFC.
Allow me to educate you on a few matters, Mad Dog.
Yes, go ahead.
Allow me to educate you, sir. I know you've been around for a long time, but you're a bit outdated with certain things. And let me give you an example. For one thing, when you sit up there and you say he owes them something.
Absolutely.
Valid point. Because he has missed 54 games due to suspensions. 54. I mean, think about that. There's 16 games in the season until the last season. That's 3 full seasons plus. He's missed games due to suspension. That's very, very bad. I give you that. But here's the thing. Jerry Jones says, according to the reports, it's a part of the language, standard language in the contract. It ain't in Dak Prescott's contract for your contract to be voided. You understand? Now, Dak Prescott obviously is the star quarterback, and there was an exception to the rule, and he was it, and I get all that. But the bottom line is it's not in his contract. You're Randy Gregory. Here's the part where I'm talking about you might miss the boat a little bit there. Ladies and gentlemen, and this is not the comments of ESPN, this is me. You understand? Let me say it because it's going to be controversial, but damn it, I mean it. Did anyone deduce from his position that this is a guy that's fearful that he might use again and he wants to get paid his money? Think about that. If the only issue, there's no state income taxes in the state of Texas. I don't think the state of Colorado, there's no state income. I don't think they have that. I don't think they got that going for them. State of Texas, there's no state income taxes. You can keep more of that money that you're earning. The clause that he's looking at the contract, you say he didn't look at it, Mad Dog. Excuse me, that's the one thing he would look at. Hold on. That's the one thing he would look at. That's the one thing he would look at. No. That's the one thing he would look at. Wait a minute. Yeah. I mean, smoking some weed or whatever it is soothes my mood and gives me calm.
It's more severe than weed. Go ahead.
Okay, that's fair. But what I'm saying to you is this, Mad Dog. This is clearly a brother, if he looked at that clause and he said, I'm going to leave Dallas and go to Denver to play there, excuse me, I want to make sure that if I do relapse, I continue to get paid. I would find that to be a very smart move on his
that's
part.
where my mind went as well. That's
And last but not least, last point. You said Dallas is an easy division.
Easy.
Wait a minute. But what you're missing, what position does he play? And what are they going to do in the AFC West? They're going to throw. He'll have more bites at the apple to go after a Justin Herbert, a Patrick Mahomes, a Derek Carr. And you got to pay attention to that, too, because they're going to throw that football.
It's called loyalty. The Dallas Cowboys have been loyal to Gregory. You don't pay that back by saying, you know what, I'm going to bail here because I don't like that word in the contract, and I'm going to leave. If you wouldn't do that to this company,
I never would.
If this company, for whatever reason, and you match, you would say, you know what, I can't do that.
If they matched based on my relationship, if they matched it, but they would have to match.
Well, I agree. Did I say at the top
pay me now?
Okay. More money? You go, but
wait a
minute.
Didn't. But in his mind, they did because I don't have. If I relapse, if I relapse in any way, I still keep my contract. It doesn't get voided. That is not, that's a smart business decision, doggy, because what he said, listen, what about this loyalty? Jerry Jones, you've been supportive of me. You stood by my side. I appreciate that. But then why are you now adding this language in the contract that gives you the right to cut me and get rid of me?
Because he's missed, as you said, 60 games.
I agree. But what I'm saying, but you just finished talking about loyalty. What he's saying is, excuse me, Denver is saying, no matter what, we're going to keep you. We're going to pay you. And Jerry Jones is saying,
you know
no.
Why? Once he goes to Denver and has, unfortunately, let's hope he doesn't.
Yeah. Let's hope he doesn't.
Has a relapse,
let's hope he doesn't.
And then Denver in the next contract, they're going to put that language in there too.
It ain't this one. It ain't this one. He gonna get that $28 million now.
I tell you right now.
Here's where I think we're also missing something, because I was with Stephen A. on this, and that's where my mind went as well. The Broncos are going to be a better team. So I get that the NFC East is the worst division, and I get that the AFC West is thick as thieves, but come on. They got Russell Wilson.
I wouldn't go by that one, Molly.
You don't think that, you don't think the Broncos are going to go further than the Cowboys?
No, that's not what I'm saying. The Broncos have a tougher path towards prosperity. If you're playing in Dallas, the NFC East should be a cakewalk.
You're going to make the playoffs.
And so because of that, if you look at the NFC this year compared to the AFC, there's more obstacles in the AFC.
So let me ask you this. So you would bet on Dak Prescott and the Cowboys to go further than Russell Wilson and the Broncos?
I'm saying to you, you can make that argument. You can make that argument because you got, hold on, Molly. Yeah. You got Kansas City. You got people picking the Chargers, okay? You can't ignore that. The Raiders were in the playoffs last year. You got Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Baltimore with Lamar Jackson coming back.
Buffalo
okay?
and Kansas
You got
City.
Buffalo as well. The road to prosperity is far more difficult to reach in the AFC than the NFC.
I can't believe you're arguing this, especially with the Cowboys. What have they done?
I don't think they're going to do anything. But the bottom line is the path that they have.
I get it, but they've had an easy path and they haven't done anything.
Let me throw one other thing in there. If I was as bad, and he was awful, be fair. No. If I was as bad as Gregory was against San Francisco, he, as much as Prescott was, he had what do you have, 4 penalties? Oh, he was awful. You know what? I owe that franchise something. I was so bad in that game. I'm coming back. And I'm going to get redemption from my poor performance that cost us against San Francisco with all the penalties. We were going to fire McCarthy because of 14 penalties, and he had about 5 of them himself.
Dougie,
I am not going to go to Denver and bail out my team.
I'm not the only businessman here. So are you.
That's good show.
I mean, I've watched you elevate. I mean, I'm talking to a man that has his own channel. Everybody can't say that.
Yeah,
Mad
you do
Dog
have your
channel.
own channel.
You understand? Even when you're not working, they're talking about you. All the time. It's your channel, okay? You made a good business decision. Now check this out. Randy Gregory is sitting up there going like this, hey? If I relapse,
I understand
I'm going to still get my money.
I understand.
That is a better business deal.
I understand. I get it.
That means
the 2 things you got to be fair about here that you have, and you're loyal. Loyal, the Cowboys had his back.
I agree.
I mean, you go bail on your Cowboys for that.
Because he's clearly worried that he might transgress. You ever think about that?
Well, then why
you want to make sure you get the money.
If you're worried about, well, let me ask it this way. If you're worried that you might have a problem, why would Denver then sign him? Why would Denver take that chance?
Because they were worst in pass rush win rate in 2021. They need help.
They need help.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good job.
Not just a hat rack. All right. Good morning. Welcome into First Take on this beautiful Wednesday. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. Christopher, Mad Dog Russo, good to see you, sir.
A pleasure.
Of course, Stephen A. Smith. I'm Molly Karam. And gentlemen, I wish I got the memo. I didn't know it was like Easter Sunday suits with the pastels. You both look so handsome.
Well, thank you so much. You know, I think it's important to point out him more than anything because he really stepped up wearing the suit and tie today. He knows who he's up against. He had to bring his A game. He did it with the dress. I'm not sure about everything else.
I love him to death, but Stevie is hot stuff today. Oh, wait till I hear these Kyrie Irving nonsense. Oh, my God. Go ahead.
You ready to do it? Okay, let's do it. Because, gentlemen, part-time Kyrie is making the most of it when he does play, and that is for sure. 41 points in the first half en route to a career-high franchise record 60 in the 150-108 win of Orlando. It was the highest-scoring half of his career and the highest-scoring half for any player this season. Kyrie, how you feeling?
I'm just grateful it came in the flow of the game. You know, a few shots probably I shouldn't have taken. You know what I mean? Tough ones, you know, double teams, triple teams coming. But, you know, as long as I could do it with a smile on my face and my teammates weren't too angry at me, it made this night worthwhile.
Mad Dog, is this proof that Kyrie is an all-time great guard?
Well, listen, we know he's a great player, and Steve's going to put him on this level where he doesn't belong. He is not an immortal. Let's take it easy. With immortality, Kyrie Irving, who needed LeBron to bail him out in Cleveland. The team stunk before LeBron got there. And then he went to Boston, and they were better without him. When they left, they actually went further. The year he got hurt, they went further. And then when he left, they were better without him. Right. Kyrie is perfect when he can play with that secondary guy with him who's better. Yeah. In this case, Durant. In Cleveland with LeBron. But, you know, to be an immortal in the NBA, you got to do some special, transcendent things. Scoring 60 points against the Orlando Magic, and he is great. We all know he's great. Yeah. And you want to put him in the top 75, as Stevie wants to put him number 74, we can let him put him in number 74. But to put him in that Magic, guards, you know, Oscar, West, Jordan, Magic, you know, to put him on that level, Kuzi, to put him on, who changed the game, to put him on that level, what's Kyrie's not changing the game? To put him on that level is outlandish. Now, I should let him talk first, but he's going to try to convince you that Kyrie Irving is a top 7, top 8 talent player. No, he's not. West has got the logo, hits a half-court shot, was on a team that won 33 in a row. Oscar triple-double. Magic is magic. We don't have to discuss him. Kuzi, 29 assists in a ball game, who changed the NBA from Mike in the 50s.
Will you stop
this
with
is
your
crazy
dribble.
here. Irving on this level.
Would you stop with your dribble? You're supposed to start. We ain't even 3 minutes into the show, and you're ridiculous. You want to talk about all-time great moments? I guess that three that Kyrie hit over Steph Curry to deliver the championship. We just going to go. Good one.
How about the LeBron block? You forget about the LeBron block.
I didn't forget about. We're talking about Kyrie. We're not omitting what LeBron did, but we are talking about Kyrie. I would remind you that the finals that they actually lost when Kyrie was healthy. Kyrie averaged 29 that series. When they won the chip, he averaged 27 in the finals. He's got a spectacular moment against Steph Curry to close the deal and deliver the city of Cleveland its first championship in any sport in more than a half century. So let's stop with the nonsense. You bring up Jerry West. We love Jerry West. We honor Jerry West. He is the silhouette, even though I'm at a point where I think Michael Jordan should be the silhouette. But that's neither here nor there. My point is this. Jerry West went to the finals, 9 times? How many chips does he have? He's got one. So let's call it what it is. Kyrie Irving right now has as many titles as Jerry West. Is that not a fact? Is that not a fact? Is that not a fact? Okay, now we can get to the talent. Is this not one of the greatest ball handlers we've ever seen?
I love him. He's very talented. You're putting him on this level.
Wait a minute. He's spectacular. Excuse me. John Stockton's on an all-time 75 list, right?
Right.
John Stockton doesn't have a chip. He doesn't have a ring. Now, I'll give him this. He shows up. He shows up to work. I'll give him a lot of credit for that because we all know that's Kyrie's problem. Showing up to work. And let me veer left for a second here with Kyrie's Irving spectacular performance last night. I'm very, very disgusted with a lot of people. Kyrie Irving was absolutely sensational. 41 points in the first half, 60 for the game. Here's my thing. Are we really surprised? We know what Kyrie can do. Why the hell you think we so upset that he ain't playing home games? We're not talking about a scrub. If he was a scrub, we wouldn't pay any attention to it. We're paying attention to it because we know how great he is, and the borough of Brooklyn is being robbed. Do you know that Kyrie Irving has played 43 home games
in his career?
In his 3 years in Brooklyn? 43 home games. 43. That's it. And you don't get to see him if you're in Brooklyn. And if he doesn't play, if for some reason this ridiculous, idiotic New York City mandate isn't lifted, this guy is not going to be available for home games during the postseason, and it could cost them a championship. So I'm saying when I see the greatness of Kyrie Irving, it annoys me that everybody sits around and they're just praising and loving and everything they're seeing, and they're not paying attention to the fact that they're not seeing it enough. But having said all of that, this ain't Marvel Comics, you and your immortal status and the stuff that you come. Who you gonna mention next? Thor? You know, Hulk? Who's gonna be next?
I was thinking Lenny Wilkins, but I better lay off.
Lenny Wilkins, just stop it. Kyrie is Kyrie.
Because I'm glad you brought that up. He played 43 games over the last 3 years. Mad Dog, is this home games? Yes. Is this less impressive what he's doing right now because he's a part-time player?
Well, I think he's mad because the team got the $50,000 fine there against. So I think he wanted to come out there and do his thing. And listen, he is a great individual player. But for Stephen A. to knock West, well, you only won one
right here. What you looking at Molly for? I'm right here. I'm right here.
Who did he lose to in the finals, Steve?
Excuse me, he lost to Golden State?
He lost to Boston. I'm talking about West. He lost to Boston. Russell, Cousy, Heinsohn, Havlicek.
Hey, listen, you either that dude or you not. You either that dude or you not.
Oh, come on, that's not fair.
Hello, wait a minute.
Was he the MVP of a final? He was a losing player.
I am not going to let you modify and narrate this conversation by having me come across as if I'm throwing shade on a great Jerry West. I understand how great he is. He's the silhouette, for crying out loud. And matter of fact, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you wouldn't be in the position you're in right now if he was your general manager. But that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, if you went to 9 NBA Finals and you only got one chip, I mean, damn, Mad Dog. I mean, damn.
He is the only player in the history of the league to be the MVP of a team that lost in the final.
Well, what
else do you want?
Excuse me. I don't approve of somebody losing and being the MVP.
He averaged 38 a game with a big impact.
I don't care. If you lost, you lost. Somebody, the winner, needs to be able. Let me ask you a question.
What's your explanation for Kyrie with Cleveland and the Celtics?
Let me ask you a question. Would you, when Andre Iguodala won the MVP a few years ago, okay, a lot of people said LeBron James deserved it, which he clearly did, but he didn't get it because they lost.
I agree.
All right, then.
But he didn't get it. That's
I'm just saying, because he lost.
But so did West, and he got it.
Well, he shouldn't have gotten it because he lost.
You don't know. It was 1968. You and I weren't even born yet, for crying out loud.
Well, I was 1 year. I was 1 year old. Yeah, but the point that I'm trying to make to you is that at the end of the day, it comes down to this fact. He lost 8 times in 9 tries at the chip.
Great teams. Wait, now you're going to put Kyrie in the You're going to put Kyrie with the Oscar category?
No.
You can put him with Magic? That's a more. You can put him with Kobe?
I put Kyrie as a talent up against any guard in NBA history.
We are not discussing that. Transcendent. Where is he transcended the game? That's what? Because he made a jumper over Curry?
Excuse me?
Because he made a jumper over Curry.
Did I not say he averaged 29 and I not say he averaged 27? Do we not view him as one of the most spectacular offensive talents this game has ever seen? Is that not all true?
Can I talk?
Yeah, of course you can talk.
Is that not all true?
To be a transcendent player that goes down in the history books, you need to have that special something, that special intangible. West has the logo. Magic's got, he's Magic.
West has the logo.
And logo's him.
He gave it to him. Who gave it to him?
And he deserves it.
Excuse me. How come Bill Russell didn't deserve it? How come Magic Johnson didn't deserve it? How come Michael Jordan didn't deserve it? I mean, there's plenty of people that deserve it. Stop it, man. Stop it. Don't have me disrespecting Jerry West because I don't feel that way. But you're going too far. You're going too far. Go ahead.
I just want to ask you the same question before we move on here. Are you less impressed by what Kyrie's doing, these big numbers, 50-point games, 60-point games? Because he's rested. If all these other players were playing part-time, wouldn't they be going off as well?
Well, first of all, players can get the rest and you still can't step on the court and do what Kyrie Irving can do. Let's be clear about that. He is a big-time talent. He's phenomenal. But the word that's appropriate is that it's resentment. I resent the fact that this man isn't available for all the games. What we saw last night, not in the 60-point or the 41-point in the first half, but in terms of his spectacular talents being put on display, I believe the borough of Brooklyn is being robbed. I believe he has been selfish. I don't believe that he has been a person that has proven he can be depended on. I would never give him a long-term contract because I'll give him $50 million a year. $50 million a year. But it would be 1 year at a time because that brother's going to skip work now.
Yeah.
He's going to skip work. And that is my issue. What we saw last night, we should have been seeing, I'm not talking about the numbers, but his talent. We should have been seeing almost every game this year. In his 11-plus year career, he has played 60-plus games 4 times.
And I think
that's an advantage. He has missed it.
I think it's an advantage to be rested.
I think you're right, but I do think Stevie's right on that. We agree. It's a joke that he doesn't play he should have gotten the shots to begin with.
Yeah.
And he should be playing a home game. One thing that he has not explained and not answered.
Yeah.
What is your explanation for the Cavs? They were awful before LeBron went back there from Miami.
Hold on.
And how about Boston? He bailed on them.
I have no excuse for Boston because he looked the fans in the face and said, I'm looking forward to coming back.
They were better without him. Tatum and guys like they were better when he left.
Well, I understand that. Well,
that counts. That's immortality,
First year he got hurt. The second year he came back. After they went to the conference finals, they came back, and then he made the team worse. Fair. But Cleveland, let's be real about this. When LeBron leaves, Kyrie is drafted as the #1 overall pick. And they improved by at least 5 games the first 3 years he was there, and then LeBron came back. LeBron is going, he's a rookie just coming into the league, and they improved each year he was there.
All right, you have a last word?
No,
I'm ready to move on from
you know what? Where's the white flag? Here we go.
I'm a little Kyrie out. There we go.
Reported that he was retiring, and before he was ready. I mean, right after they lost, these losses are painful. You don't just roll over and get up and get going. It's like your car's out of gas, and then somebody asks you a question, and then everybody's telling everybody that they know what they were doing. I mean, they were announcing his retirement before he even retired, and the media made the news. He was not ready to make any decision, and didn't make any decision, but Schefter and Darlington stated it as fact after he had time to reflect with his family and what gives him the greatest joy in his life, and they all agreed that this is the path forward that works best for the Brady family.
Tom Brady Sr. airing it out, giving us the lowdown as his son retired and unretired. Obviously, a lot can happen in 40 days. We know this. Announcing Sunday he has unfinished business and will be back in Tampa Bay for his 23rd season. He will be the first quarterback ever to start at the age of 45. I certainly did not expect this, and neither did Mad Dog.
The idea that they're waiting for Brady, that's the dumbest thing in the world. He is not coming back. He has retired. It is over. Don't even hint it. He's finished. It's not, he's out. He's going to the Hall of Fame in 5 years. Enough of this Tom Brady nonsense. Well, you know what? You never know. Maybe we'll build our team. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We'll see what happens in August. Hey, if we have an injury, we can bring him back. Tom Brady is finito. He is not coming back to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay, Mad Dog. I mean, you were blatantly, but I was right there with you. I thought, Brady, when he speaks, we listen, like E.F. Hutton. But was this a mistake for him now?
Listen, first off, I got Brady fatigue. So I'll be the first to admit that.
You have Brady fatigue?
Enough of Tom Brady, man. He's played forever. Please, go away.
He keeps winning, though.
He's great. We all know it. I love the guy. And I got to hear his father now telling people it's the media's fault. I mean, he announced it on Instagram. Did the media tell him to announce it on Instagram?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. The media pushed him out. No, he didn't. He announced it not on my radio program with Jim Gray. He announced it the next day. He scooped his own show, for crying out loud. That's another issue that I have a major problem with. But enough. And furthermore, he decides to make the announcement of his return by sabotaging the NCAA tournament. 7 o'clock on Sunday. Here's Jay Billis trying to tell us Gonzaga's going to win it all. We got to break in. Tom Brady's coming back. Poor Dick Vitale's got the chalkboard out. And here in the world is Tom Brady. Oh, my God, enough. Please, 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 please. Can you go away? And I know he's great, and I know we'll be sitting here. He will in October. Thank God, Brady. Let's watch how great he is, blah, 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 d. I understand. He's got, 7 championships. He's been in 10 Super Bowls. But the other side of this is, too, why come back? He's been there for 2 years in Tampa. They won. He was great last year. All right, they got beat by the Rams. Wasn't his fault. He can go out on a high note. The Bucs will not be as good. They're old. A lot of guys. Gronkowski, who knows? He showed his age at the end of last year. The offensive line's a mess. You know, Jason Pierre-Paul's out of there. Who makes you think that Tampa? I know the conference is bad, but I mean, I think you're almost biting off more than you can chew. You're leaving leaving the stage at a perfect time. How about if he comes back next year and they go 7-10? Then what? Why? Because he's bored? Because he can't be in a broadcast booth somewhere? I've had it. And the Sunday announcement at 7 o'clock. And listen, I don't want to make a big deal about college kids. You spoiled their moment.
Okay.
You spoiled their moment.
Let me say this, couple of things. Before I get into what I disagree with you about, because there's a few things. I will say this. I love Tom Brady. I respect the hell out of his family and what have you. Tom Brady Sr., that was wrong and that was weak, what he said. The media did not do that. Adam Schefter, Jeff Darlington, reported what Tom Brady ultimately admitted. It's not their job. I mean, listen, you just say that they revealed it before he wanted them to or whatever. But you told somebody, because how did they get it? They got it from somebody because you confirmed it by coming on Instagram and announcing that you were stepping away from the game. Just like you came back a month later and acknowledged you changed your mind. It's that simple. So we really, really need to stop pointing the finger. I mean, for him to point the finger at the media, Tom Brady is a grown man. You're 43, 44 years old, okay? You made your decision. Don't blame the reporters for that, Tom Brady Sr. That is not the fault of the reporters. The reporters did their job, and they were accurate. Let's not act like Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington were wrong. They were right, because he did retire. He just changed his mind and unretired. How would I know that? I reported years ago that Allen Iverson was retiring, and he retired and came back, okay? It happens. People change their mind. They can do what they want to do. Now, let me get to your point, doggy. He's Tom Brady. Watch yourself. Show some respect. This is not Aaron Rodgers you're talking about that just lost to the San Francisco 49ers and Jimmy G, or a guy that as great as he is that hasn't even been to a Super Bowl, let alone hosted a Lombardi trophy in the last 12 years. This is Tom freaking Brady, okay? This past season, he didn't win. Last year, he won. His first year away from New England, he won. And if anybody can sit up there and come back and do it again, it's Tom Brady. 5,300 plus yards passing, 43 touchdowns thrown at age 43 going on 44. And when you talk about the NFC, what did we just finish lamenting? The fact that the road to prosperity ain't that difficult in the NFC compared to the AFC. There's no Drew Brees anymore in New Orleans, okay? Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams are there, but they got a lot of stuff to do. They got a lot of bodies to keep because everybody ain't going to be back. And then you've got Robin Woods. He got to get back healthy. Odell Beckham Jr. got hurt. He's got to get back healthy. I mean, Cooper Kupp can only do but so much by his damn self. We got the Dallas Cowboys. We know what a mess that is. You looking at the NFC North, I mean, there's Green Bay. And so when you look at it from that perspective, we can't ignore San Francisco. I get all of that. Seattle, Russell Wilson's gone. Arizona, they just nosedive at the tail end of the season. There's some ammunition for Tom Brady to come back, because if you're looking at the AFC, for example, whether it's Mahomes, whether it's Josh Allen, whether it's Justin Herbert, whether it's Derek Carr, whether it's Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, or anybody else, guess what? Tom Brady only has to meet one of them if he comes out of the NFC. He ain't got to play them in the postseason. So if I'm Tom Brady, I'm looking at my chances and I say, they're pretty damn good. I could come back and win an 8th Super Bowl. I love my wife. I love my children. But damn it, I got the rest of my life to do this. This is right here, playing football. There's a window of opportunity here, and I can still do it at an elite level. He was a top 2 candidate for league MVP honors. And you're saying, why'd you walk away? Why don't you walk away? Oh, enough already. I'm sick of it. Are you killing me?
You're not tired of Tom Brady?
Listen, I want beat him.
Reading about Tom Brady?
Listen,
no.
beat
Breaking
him.
in. Oh, no.
You get tired of.
Time.
I'm sorry, you're tired of greatness?
Hold on. Let me ask you
He's
this.
45 years old.
So
Give
what?
somebody else
Is
a
he
chance.
great?
Oh,
Is he
my
great?
God.
Give somebody else a
Age
chance.
is just
What
a
the hell is
number.
this?
Oh,
Give somebody a
enough.
chance.
Enough.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you want to leave the NFC strictly to
I
Aaron
understand
Rodgers
that.
and Matthew
Oh,
Stafford?
did I say
All right
that?
then. No.
I said in October we'll be happy. I said that.
All right.
That there'll be days in October
Hold on.
that we'll be happy that he's playing.
You said, no,
and
you
the other
said
thing
you.
is,
You pointed to me. You meant you too, because you'll be right here now. You'll be right here.
I guess I
You
have to. I
understand
got
what I'm
the 40
saying?
appearances.
So, there we go. That's right.
I won't be able to use
there
them by
you
then.
go. No, you won't. No, you won't.
No, the thing about the scenario with Brady, and one thing you're wrong about. What, you think the NFC is the reason he's coming back? He'd come back in the AFC too. I don't think the quality of the conference
But he's in the
had
NFC.
anything to do
But
with
he's
his
in the
return.
NFC. He's in the NFC. He's with Tampa. And they're going to keep most of those guys. They're going to lose all of them now. They're going to lose all of them.
You don't have a problem with Brady on Sunday night with the NCAA selection show announcing he's coming back on Instagram?
I didn't like that. But it's not that big of a deal.
You don't have a problem with Brady basically blowing off Jim Gray? Jim Gray's asking Brady, are you coming back? Well, I haven't decided yet. The next morning at 8 o'clock, he puts on Instagram, yeah, I'm retiring.
Well,
you don't have a problem with that either?
I'd have a problem with anybody blowing off Jim Gray.
I love Jimmy.
I love Jimmy. I would never do such a thing.
The point is, I understand how great he is. Nobody understands it more than me. He's the greatest quarterback of all time, and he's been great the last 2 years. I understand all that, and I understand that, in the NFC, he's got obviously an open window to go do his thing, and he was great last year. But be careful. These comebacks don't always come out as smoothly as you think.
Can I ask you this question?
Be
For
careful.
40 days, it's not a comeback.
No, I mean,
Can I ask you this
it's a
question?
return at 45, thinking he's going to relive the
May I
glory
ask you-
days. Be careful.
There ain't no reliving the glory days. It's who you're playing with. He ain't playing with scrubs. Mike Evans is there. Chris Godwin's probably going to be
Godwin's
back.
coming off a major injury.
I understand that. But still in all, you're expecting talent to be there, which is what he didn't have this last year in New England. So let's be clear about that.
I agree with you on that.
Last but not least, Tom Brady in his career, 243 and 73.
Oh, he's great.
Last year, 13-4.
Right.
Career 84,520 passing yards.
I know.
And just threw for 1,516.
That's great.
Now, listen, he's still great, which means he should still be appreciated in the game of football,
You are
particularly
not
by
tired of
people
the
like
Tom
you.
Brady?
What? No, I'm not.
Diva,
Whoa.
The TV
Diva?
show, the whole bit.
How's he
Hold on.
Diva?
You had him on your radio channel. You didn't mind.
I didn't make that call.
You wouldn't have. Hold
You're
on.
the point. It's your channel.
Hold
It's
on,
your
Molly.
name.
Molly, hold on, Molly. Hold on. Are you saying that if it was your call, you would have passed on having Tom Brady on Mad Dog Radio? Is that what you're saying?
I had to actually call up Gray one day. He says, you mind if you go at 7 so I can go an extra hour on the radio? Yeah, I would not. I would put him on the NFL channel.
You would put where?
On the NFL channel.
You would not have put him on Mad Dog. You would have kept him. You would have kept Tom Brady off of Mad Dog? Off of Mad Dog Radio?
I'll give you that one.
Thank you. Okay. I'm just saying. I mean, come on now. Come on now.
I am amazed, though, that, well, first off, we agree on his father. We agree on the way he announced it on Sunday night. So we have two agreements.
I'm not as
He probably
passionate about
forgot
Sunday
it was
night as
March
you are.
Madness.
I'm not as
He's
passionate
a
about it.
sports fan.
So what? He probably had so much going up on his. He's a billionaire. He's got a lot going on. He's got a wife. He's got kids.
Jay's breaking
All
down
right.
Longwood, Tennessee, and he's
All
got
right.
time.
That's funny. That was funny. We were saying that real quick before we went to break. Who won the Super Bowl? Who won the Super Bowl
Rams.
this year? Yeah. How much did the Rams beat the Bucks by?
Oh, they beat him by a field goal.
3.
3 points, right? 3 points.
It was
And
27,
what?
nothing,
Excuse me.
but, okay,
What
27-3.
team
Oh,
was?
was it 27-3?
What team was decimated by injuries?
Well, Tampa had a lot of
Yeah,
injuries.
exactly. Unfinished business.
No,
okay.
Unfinished business.
Unfinished
He's won 10.
business.
Enough for giving somebody
guess
else
what?
a shot.
He wants 8.
somebody
He
else-
wants 8. El Ocho.
Give
Let's
somebody
go.
else a shot.
Still to come.
That it's going to be a special night.
Sometimes.
I don't need your claim to fame. I do it for the ones that show me love. I had to show the same.
Fear, no distractions, and straight focus. Giving my Kobe bag real quick and live with the result.
Quick trigger, Irving. 60! Listen to this crowd. And you're getting a show.
The Nets have won 4 in a row, with the last 2 coming off huge performances from their superstar duo. KD and Kyrie are the first pair of teammates to have a 50-point game in back-to-back games. That is in NBA history. Quite a tandem.
You know what time it is, right? It's time for Steven's A-List. Here's the deal. The list is fluid.
I know it's fluid. I know all of that.
I'm glad it's fluid.
I think he's confused.
The list is fluid. It's fluid. It's fluid. No,
Only recency bias, Batman.
Because you done lost your mind.
Wednesdays, it is my show. I do the asking.
You cannot do that. You cannot do that.
Squid kick it for crying out loud with 13 seconds left.
He's taking over the A-list. He's seen me do it. He thinks he can do it better.
I don't think. That quarterback list last week was for the Birds. I know. We are taking over the list this week, and we got the Warriors and the Celtics, so you got two legendary ball clubs. So I came up with my top 5 NBA teams of all time. Single season. This is not about a dynasty.
Well, first order of business, I mean, before you do the list, can you display more enthusiasm, more fire and fervor? I mean, can you act like you're opening Mad Dog Radio? I mean, can you do that?
When you had that awful quarterback list. Oh, my God.
You know what time it is.
You got to do
Go
better
ahead.
than that. All right, here we go. Top 5. Number 5 on our list, the 76ers of 82-83, greatest teams of all time. That's Malone, that's Irving, that's Bobby Jones, that's Andrew Toney, that's Mo Cheeks. They lost one playoff game, and they beat Magic, Kareem, Wilkes, and McAdoo in 4 straight in the final. This is an unheralded but an all-time great team. No question about it. They won 67. That's number 5. Number 4 on our list is the Bucks. Steve says, what? No, the Milwaukee Bucks. That's who it is. This is Kareem. This is Alcindor. This is Oscar Robertson. This is Bobby Dandridge. You know how good Bobby Dandridge was? And Oscar, 19 a game, came from Cincinnati. Kareem, 31-17. They swept the Bullets in the NBA final. They beat the Knicks. This is a great basketball team. Underrated. That is number 4. Number 3 on the Mad Dog list, the 76ers of 66-67. He laughs. They were 46-4 to start the year. This is Wilt. This is Hal Greer. This is Jet Walker. This is Billy Cunningham. The Kangaroo Kid. This is a tremendous club.
The Kangaroo Kid?
That beat Russell in the Eastern Conference Final in 5 games. Only one of the 2 championships that Russell never won in his career. And the Sixer team, which at the time set the record for wins at 68, is number 3. Number 2 on our list, the 85-86, no issues. Look at the Hall of Famers. Bird, Walt, McHale, Parrish, DJ, Ainge, not a Hall of Famer, Wedman, 40-1 at home. Boston, that's the best front court by not even close in the history of the NBA. And number 1 on our list is the Lakers of 71. He's laughing. Where are the Bulls? I don't want to hear about the Bulls. 71-72. 33 in a row. Wilt, West, Goodrich, West and Wilt in the same team. They beat the Bucks and Oscar and Kareem in the Western Conference Final in 6 games and blew out the Knicks. This team won 69 games. Gail Goodrich averaged 27 a game. Jimmy McMillan from Columbia, 5 feet from here, 18 points a game. Elgin Baylor had to quit because McMillan was better. This, my friends, Lakers, Celtics, 76ers, Bucks, it's not even debatable. And 76ers again is your top 5 list.
Oh, no. Well, thank you, Mad Dog Russo.
I forgot. One other thing.
Go ahead.
There's an honorable mention.
Oh, Lord. Go ahead.
I'm going to be fair. I'll be fair.
Okay, go ahead.
Make the Warriors the 16-17 with Durant.
Honorable mention.
I couldn't put him over Malone.
Oh, my God.
I could not put him over Malone
This
and
is
Julius.
unbelievable.
Fair enough. I'll put him up 6.
Honorable mention.
That's it.
So thank you, Mad Dog Russo, for the history lesson.
You got it.
Listen, I wasn't born for this one. I was 3 years old for this one,
right.
And I was 4 years old for this one. Thank you for the history lesson that you've given us about the inception of the NBA. I mean, just bringing up teams when you didn't even have the level of parity that you have now, at least in the 60s and early 70s. The 80s, fine. I'll get to that in a second. But my God, I wasn't born here. I was 3 years old here. I was 4 years old
That's
here.
Kareem and Oscar!
I mean, unbelievable. That's fine. That's fine. Let me go down to your list. First of all, I appreciate the fact that the 76ers are here because Moses 4-5-4, even though he said 4-4-4 and didn't sweep every team, he lost the game. I believe it was to the Milwaukee Bucks
yes, he was.
in that playoffs.
Good boy.
But
I
see where you're going with that. I understand that. But we're going to ignore Michael Jordan with
I'm not ignoring him.
and the Chicago
Yeah, you think
Bulls,
I'm ignoring that?
and the Chicago Bulls, particularly their 72-win season. We're gonna ignore that. Are you smoking?
Well, where you put him? What team you put him over? What team you put him over?
First of all, I'll take the Sixers team out of there. I'll tell you right now. I'll take the Sixers team out of there. I'm gonna challenge.
Please, no.
This is gonna go down here. This is going down. First of all, I'm taking off this just because I wasn't born. I'm taking this off.
How do you they won 68 games? How do you take Wilt off?
Wilt, just stop it.
How Greer?
One of the 2 titles that he won, and 11 of which he lost. Stop it.
But you got Wilt on 2 of the teams.
Excuse me. Let me tell you this. I got the Bulls. Before I even go in an order, I got the Bulls, 95, 96,
All right, go ahead.
2 games.
I don't know who's going to guard the front
Your
court of the Celtics.
honorable mention.
All right.
Okay, the 73-win season, the greatest shooting team ever.
They lost the final. You can't put that team in there.
Excuse me. Guys were injured, and that stimulus package that Adam Silver gave LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers suspended Draymond Green, and then after that, the next game, Andrew Bogut and Iguodala gets hurt, and then by the time they come back, neither of them hurt. Don't get me started. Adam Silver in the NBA gave LeBron James a stimulus package on that one. I'm not buying it. That 73-win team is in here, okay?
How could you be in it if you didn't win a championship, Steven?
I just told you why. The stimulus package.
They lost 2 games at home. These teams won titles here.
Hold on. I'm not finished. So I got the Bulls in 95, 96. I got them, okay? Let's point that out. You don't have the Lakers with Kareem, Magic, Worthy, Byron Scott. I mean, my God. How do you leave them out? How do you pick the Lakers? How do you pick the Lakers and don't include that team with Magic and those boys? So they're up there. The Chicago Bulls are up there. I'll leave if you want me to, I'll leave the 76ers. I'll give you 2 of this. I'll keep Boston. I'll move them down to 3rd. Okay, I'll put the Bulls with Rod.
No, Steven. Time out.
Go ahead.
Who is going to guard, if you put the Bulls there, who is going to guard McHale, Bird, Walton, and Parrish? Luke Longley? Who's going to guard them?
You're absolutely right. They'll score, but they'll score 2s other than Bird. Excuse me, when you talking about, but first of all, if you're going to go with the Chicago Bulls, excuse me, the 4-headed team that they had at the center spot with Cartwright and all of those boys, oh yes, I'd put them up there with that. You look at Rodman and who he could defend. You look at Pippen and who he could defend. I guarantee you, that's why you're smiling, because you know I'm right. The Chicago Bulls would be number 1.
No, then.
Number 1.
Who did the Bulls play in the final?
It doesn't matter. They had Michael.
They made the Supersonics.
Excuse me, Michael Jordan made everybody look a distant second. That's how great he was, okay? So I'm putting the Bulls up there. I'd have them at number 1, all right? I see what you're going. I'd put the Lakers with Magic, Kareem, Worthy, Byron Scott, and I'd have them at number 2. I'd leave your Celtics, put your Celtics here at number 3.
Yeah, party's over, guys.
That's ridiculous. You take the 76
Still to come
out
on
here.
First Take. High scoring 60 points, and last night Kyrie said, I can do that too. Uncle Drew dominating versus the Magic, and he only played 35 minutes. The Nets play the Mavericks tonight on ESPN, but Kyrie won't play because they will be back in Brooklyn. Those same New York City vaccine rules will apply to the Yankees and the Mets this season. Unvaccinated fans can attend games, but players can't play because they're considered employees. This can potentially be a big problem for the Yankees in the heart of their lineup. Here's Aaron Judge's answer when asked if he's vaccinated.
I'm still focused on, just getting through the first game of spring training. So I think we'll cross that bridge whenever, the time comes. But right now, so many things could change, so I'm not really too worried about that right now.
Also, I should note that no unvaccinated player will be able to play in Toronto either. Stephen A.
Yeah.
How does this make Judge look?
Well, to me, first of all, he's got to be responsible. He's 29 years of age. He's looking for a new contract. If I'm the Yankees, you ain't getting paid until you get vaccinated, to be quite honest with you. Because if I don't know whether or not you can play, why should I pay you? Just practical, just a pragmatic approach to it. Having said all of that, I want to use this as an opportunity once again to call out the utter stupidity of the city of New York. Mayor Eric Adams, you got to step up. And I'm not talking about a player. I'm not talking about Kyrie. I'm not talking about Aaron Judge. I'm saying it has to make sense. It's not acceptable that the rule is the rule, so follow it, and that's it, without you getting pushback if the rule makes no damn sense. In the Barclays Center, you have people who could come in there unvaccinated. So if they could come in there unvaccinated and sit in the stands unvaccinated, and you've lifted the mandate everywhere else, including in public schools, by the way, okay, K through 12, then why the hell can't a player play, particularly when visiting players can come and play in the Barclays Center? That's with Kyrie. With Aaron Judge, the stupidity reaches enormous levels. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the mandate. Here's why, doggy. Yankee Stadium is not an indoor facility.
All right.
It's outdoors.
100%.
It's outdoors.
Yep.
Okay, I mean, there's air everywhere. You understand? There's planes flying over you, for crying out loud. There's smog hovering over the Bronx and Yankee Stadium. The D train is rolling by. You understand? People can get on the D train together, but they can't stay. They can come into Yankee Stadium. What are you talking about? And then this is baseball. I mean, talk about social distancing. Every position engages in social distancing. From the catcher to the pitcher to first base to second base to the shortstop to third base, left field, center field, right field. Who the hell is within 6 feet of each other? Until you go to the dugout, and that's outdoors too. It makes no sense.
100%.
Zero that this policy is in place for a baseball player. Having said that, the rule is still in place. And you, Aaron Judge, 39 home runs last year. I think he batted like 287, something along those lines, after having, being injured and only smacking 9 home runs the year before. But we know he can be a big-time player, a big-time asset for the New York Yankees. And if that's the rule, and it could prohibit you from being available for opening day, if I'm the Yankees, you better be available for opening day. Because you're talking to me about a new contract, new dollars. This is going to play a role in whether I'm going to give you those dollars. Because the best ability is availability. And that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, listen, you get sicker from the smog than you do about the vaccination. So Stevie's 100% right. It's outdoors. I don't know enough about the rules. I'll let Eric Adams figure that out, but it is awfully stupid that you can go out there and be a road player and go play at the Barclays, and you can be a fan, and you can't be, if you're Irving, play the games. Yeah. But there are two different things here. We can scream about the rules until the cows come home, and we'd be all correct. These rules are absurd. I don't, it's very difficult to figure out. I mean, I was paying attention to the rules. Bottom line is, we feel better about COVID right now. It's an outdoor facility. My goodness, the road players can play. Let them go out there and play the game. So that's the one thing that him and I, Stephen and I, are 100% in agreement with. Now, if I'm Judge, I'm not so much worried about the contract, because the Yankees are not going to push the envelope there. And even if he only played 81 games and was great, they would give him the contract. So I'm not so much worried about that. His issue with the contract is more about his health, his back, can he stay healthy, his age. It's not so much whether he's vaccinated or unvaccinated, so I would disagree with Steve on that. But I also go to the same point that we have gone with Irving, to a certain degree with Djokovic in the tennis. He works for a franchise. This franchise needs him. He's got 25 teammates. This is not something where he's in an isolated situation, and he bats 2 in the lineup. He's their best player. If you're a Judge, you can make the argument, you know what, you're getting paid fortune. You owe it to your team, like Irving. You owe it to your team to get the vaccination shots. You're not this is not an individual sport. This is a team sport. You got managers, you got GMs, you got people whose jobs depend on you performing. So as a result from that, I'm amazed if this is accurate. If this is accurate, and based on the sound cut, it certainly sounds like something was fishy. He should get himself the vaccination thing. So I agree the rules are lawful. But come the time of opening day, and it's against the Red Sox, and it's 3 weeks from tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if they're changing the rules in the next 21 days. He's not going to be in a lineup against the Boston Red Sox. Is that fair to your franchise that is paying you a fortune, that needs you, that you can't play in the lineup against Boston on opening day because you got to deal with the vaccination? I say it's not fair.
And it takes us to a bigger level. Like, for example, when we talk about Kyrie Irving, nobody's defending the mandate. We know it's wrong. We know he should be playing. We know that they should lift the mandate. We know he should be allowed to play in the Barclays Center. But that's still separate and apart from the situation as it pertains to, what does it say about you that you're willing to leave your teammates hanging because of your principled position? Now, I understand injecting something into your body, you got concerns. I get all of that. But it does matter. Why because numerous players didn't want to get vaccinated, but they did anyway because they understood what their responsibilities are. There were people here at Walt Disney that did not want to get vaccinated, but we understood that was the mandate, and that's what we needed to do if we were going to do our jobs. Corporations and companies across this country and across this globe have similar mandates. It is what it is. And in the case of Kyrie Irving, they're in Brooklyn because of you. You wanted everybody to come to Brooklyn. They're there, okay? And so because they're there, even though they had their reservations about the vaccine, they said, yo, we need to do this, okay? Same thing with everybody else. And so Aaron Judge, it's applicable to him as well. Because let me tell you something right now, and Doggy can speak to this, even though I'm the resident Yankee fan. This is a San Francisco Giants fan. If George Steinbrenner was alive, God rest his soul, and this brother hesitated to take the vaccine,
there'd be a problem.
What do you think George Steinbrenner would have done?
There would be a problem.
George Steinbrenner, listen, my father, God rest his soul, biggest Yankee fan I've ever encountered in my life. And we used to laugh because the running joke was George Steinbrenner would go into the locker room, into the clubhouse rather, and shake guys' hands before his game. My father said he ain't shaking their hand. He's sitting there standing, and then he grabbed me like, you know what you better do, right? That was the kind of person that George Steinbrenner was. This is the man that prohibited facial hair, for crying out loud, from his players. We got games to win. We trying to make the postseason. And let me get this straight. You ain't available because you ain't gonna get vaccinated, you wouldn't be a Yankee. That's how some of these cats
100%.
roll. And listen, and you got owners don't want the vaccine, and they took it. I know because I spoke to several NBA owners. They didn't want to do it, but they understood, the billionaires, but they understood what comes with it. And so at some point in time, it's not about vaccine or non-vaccine, mandate or not mandate. It's about how obligated do you feel to be there for your fellow brothers? That's why I can't wait for the NBA playoffs to start. Let me see the Brooklyn Nets in a dicey situation and Kevin Durant out there alone.
On the road, at home, in a big spot.
It would be unforgivable if Kyrie left him in that position.
100%. And I'll tell you right now.
Especially in a year when they could win it all.
Absolutely. And just to edify what Steve said, this is going back 50 years, but we gave you a little history lesson before at the NBA, so let's try it again. In 81, Reggie Jackson was having trouble with swing and misses.
That's right.
And this is Reggie Jackson now who had 3 home runs in the World Series, who won 2 titles, who won 5 championships, 563 home runs. Now, this is not some guy off the street. This is Reggie Jackson, Mr. October. And so George, because he was having trouble, made him go to an eye doctor to see if he need glasses.
That's right.
I mean, this is Reggie!
Yeah.
Could you imagine if George was still with us today and just says, you know what, George, I'm sorry. I know you're paying me $30 million, but I am not going to play the home games, and I'm going to miss the Red Sox series.
It'd be a problem.
What, are you kidding me? Get the shots.
That's right.
I'll give it to you, for crying out loud. In your fanny. Let's go.
In your fanny.
Right.
In your fanny.
Let's drop the mic on that one. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy. Somewhere you get the shots, I tell you.
Somewhere.
That was perfect. All right, we'll leave it there. Bill says the weather is fantastic, right? Well, Lakers fans should keep that in mind now that their team has lost 11 of their last 14 games and are in jeopardy of missing the playoffs since the All-Star break. The Lakers are 0-8 when LeBron doesn't score 50 points. That's a lot to ask from the 37-year-old superstar. Yesterday, Stephen A. had a strong take on what the Lakers need to do. Take a listen.
It's time for Frank Vogel to go. He has to go as head coach of this franchise. We're seeing a level of inefficiency, a level of ineptitude, a lack of spirit. It's like these guys don't know what it means to be Lakers. It's Frank Vogel's responsibility to overcome that. Most of those players going to be back next year. And if you couldn't coach them this year, what the hell are you going to do next year? At this particular moment in time, it's embarrassing.
Your thoughts? Time for the Lakers to fire Vogel?
No. God, 15 months ago in an impossible situation, he won an NBA championship in the bubble, which was the hardest thing in the world to do, being sequestered in there for 3 months, and he won an NBA title. He did not ask for Russell Westbrook. He didn't pull the trigger on that. It's not his fault that Anthony Davis is hurt constantly. And for once in his life, can LeBron take a little responsibility here? And I know he's played well. Could he back up a coach? Mike Brown, he hung him out to dry. How about Luke Walton? How did that work out? He couldn't do anything about Spoelstra because Spoelstra, Wade loved him, so he couldn't. He had to deal with Spoelstra.
And Pat Riley. He wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, those guys he can't. But I mean, geez, could LeBron say, hey, don't blame Frank. We stink. I haven't done all my part. Davis is hurt. The guy won a championship a year and a half ago. What, they're going to bring some, you know what? Riley's not coming back. All right? Bill Shorman, 71-72. He's not coming back. Phil Jackson is not coming back. Where are you going to get this great coach?
Well,
some great coaches out there that are going to fix the Lakers? I think it's ridiculous.
I say this almost tongue-in-cheek, but you don't know definitively whether or not Phil Jackson's coming back.
That's fair.
He was up in the booth the other day.
Oh, he was?
He was in the suite at the.
Well, the Knick thing worked out well, so who
okay.
knows? Maybe
hell no. He should be banned from New York.
Oh,
he
God, that was
be
bad.
allowed back in the city. But let me say this. It's not really an indictment against Frank Vogel while I took that position. I was essentially saying let the man out of his misery. You got the players that are tuning him out. They're not listening to him. And upper management didn't listen to him when he was saying he didn't want Russell Westbrook, that he didn't work for this franchise. And so when you look at it from that perspective, and you got an owner in Jeannie Buss, God bless her, a wonderful woman, but her best friend Linda Rambis has her heir. Kurt Rambis, who did nothing as a head coach or an executive in the league,
100%.
he's got her.
Ridiculous.
He's got an heir.
Ridiculous.
Rob Pelinka is Mr. Pleasing. He's going to try to keep the peace and do what the players like LeBron want him to do. And LeBron, again, the level of culpability, he can't escape it because you could have had DeMar DeRozan. You didn't pursue it. You could have had Buddy Hield, sharpshooter in Sacramento. You didn't pursue it because you wanted Russell Westbrook because that was your boy. Period.
So we're going to fire Vogel because LeBron wanted Westbrook? How's that Vogel's fault?
What I'm saying is that because of the situation that y'all are stuck in, and these players ain't going anywhere, what you going to do? You got to get a coach that's going to get all up in them. I mean, just going to ruffle feathers, be in their face, do what the hell it is that you got to do to make things happen. Remember, Vogel wasn't their first choice. He wasn't their second choice. He wasn't their third choice. They could have had Ty Lue. They wanted to pick the coaching staff. They could have had Monty Williams, same situation. And then after that, they wanted Jason Kidd, but Jason Kidd, they looked at his checkered past and used that as an excuse not to hire the guy that they really, really, really wanted. Because when you look at the Lakers right now, Doggy, what you're seeing is a level of apathy and indifference in their play. It'd be one thing if you're not effective enough. That's about personnel, true. But when you're dismissed, you can't allow that to happen as a coach. When that happens, everything changes. Everything changes. Because at that moment in time, they're saying they don't have enough respect for you to go all out from open and tap the way they're supposed to, giving 48 points up in the first quarter, following that up the very next night on your home court, being down 26-4, 30-6, stuff like that. You know, you're just coming out, and there's no level of priority. And
I understand.
For that.
And
that's where that came from.
I don't know. I don't want to make Vogel out to be, the greatest coach in the history of basketball because he isn't. I understand that. But if you are an owner of a ball club and you got these big stars on it, and your answer to ineptitude all year and poor play, and as you said, apathy, it can't be after 15 months when a guy won a championship. Well, let's get him the heck out of here.
I'm stuck. I'm saying that I'm stuck with the players. I'm not stuck with the coach.
So
I got to do what I can to maximize whatever the players have to give me.
I think what you do, you're catering to the players. You're enabling them. You don't like the coach, we'll get rid of him. Next guy comes in, you don't like the coach, we'll get rid of him too. Eventually, you got to tell players, guys, he's the coach. Figure it out. Listen to him. Go out there and play hard. And again, if he hadn't won yet, I'd say something. Plus, he hasn't had Davis. It wasn't his idea. Again, that was a hard championship for them to win in October.
The players went to the All-Star weekend in Cleveland and never came back. They've been gone since then. They've got their vacation planned.
So we're going to fire the coach because of it?
I'm just saying. That's what sometimes
we're going to throw him out the door?
You've been around long enough to know that has happened.
Well, they did it to
That
Walt.
has happened.
When does it stop, though?
He said it doesn't make it right.
But sometimes it's worked. Sometimes it's worked. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
No knock against
Well, they got to get it together for April, but the college kids, they got to deal with March. And still to come on First Take, it is time to